let's talk about Luther Burden III. Trash talk and coming early. Like it. I love it. You guys are going to love it too. We're going to talk about these Chicago Bears right now. So apparently early in rookie minicamp, the last few days, the Bears been getting it in. And Luther Burden III has some choice words for the teams that passed on him in the draft. Obviously, he thinks and he feels in his mind that he should have went higher in the draft. That remains to be seen. Every year a player falls down in the draft. They fall in the late first round selections, or they might fall completely out of the first round. So from that point on, based on how they feel about themselves, how they view themselves, their first thought is, holy crap, all these teams are passing on me? Oh, okay, I see what y'all, okay, so y'all don't think I'm good enough to be drafted? So it's some mental gymnastics that's usually being played. And, I don't blame them one bit. Whatever motivates you, whatever gets those juices flowing, whatever chip, you got to put the own chip on your shoulder. Because that's what Michael Jordan used to do. He used to create, fake enemies or, something that would make him go harder. Like, if somebody say something, and it might not have anything to do with MJ. In his mind, he would convince himself, oh, they're coming after me. Okay, that was a shot at me. And that was one of the things that made him a killer out on the court. Football, it can be the same thing. Players that are ultra competitive, just die hard, just ultra competitive. One of the things they'll do is something like this, they'll write down the names of all the teams that passed on them multiple times. Like if teams had a couple picks in the first round or whatever, maybe they had 2 picks early in the second round. They'll write down the name of the team and write down the amount of times that team passed on them, just to create a little extra, all right, yeah, when I play y'all, I'm gonna bust y'all ass. That's what I think is going on here with Luther Burden III. So let's hear some of these, what a lot of people have deemed as some very spicy comments. Let's check it out. Chicago Bears wide receiver Luther Burden III plans to make opposing NFL teams regret not selecting him in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft. That's staying with me forever, Burden said Friday about falling to the Bears on day 2 of the draft. Everyone who passed up on me has got to pay. Yeah, that sounds about right. There were 3 wide receivers taken off the board on day 1 of the NFL draft, with the Carolina Panthers drafting, how you pronounce this? McMillan? I could never pronounce that first one. Mr. McMillan, I'm just going to call you that, bro. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Emeka Boop, and the Green Bay Packers adding Matthew Golden. The Houston Texans then selected Jaden Higgins with the 2nd pick of the 2nd round. The Bears, who had already used their own first-round pick on Michigan tight end Colston Loveland, called Burden's name 5 picks later. In order for Burden to prove he should have been a first-round selection, he will first have to compete with veteran wideout DJ Moore and 2024 first-rounder Rome Odunze for targets. Man, I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think Ben Johnson is going to have a lot of sets. It's going to include all 3 of them. DJ Moore, Luther Burden, and Rome Odunze at the same time. Now, you picture all those guys on the field at the same time, along with Colston Loveland. That's going to be a good thing. Now, obviously, left tackle is still a question mark. We don't know what's going to go on with that. But the portion where the pocket would be created, the Bears addressed that. So now Caleb should be able to step up into that pocket and not always, okay, no, it's looking funny. My spidey senses are tingling. It's time to run. No. Now you can step up in the pocket. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a either or like this article suggesting, but we'll see. NFL scout Dame Pearson described Burden before the draft as an explosive and dynamic run after catch threat who would benefit from being linked to a creative offensive coordinator who will utilize his full skill set to help the offense. That could make him a good fit with first-year offensive coordinator DeClain Doyle, who said after the draft he believed the Bears could use him in a lot of different ways. And let's be real about it. Yes, the offensive coordinator is DeClain Doyle, but we know who's really going to be the architect of this offense and who's going to be calling the plays most of the time, and that's Ben Johnson. So it's Ben Johnson knows what he's doing. He knows the kind of players he wants and needs for the kind of offense he wants to run. And even though it's not going to be exactly like the offense that was run in Detroit, there's going to be a lot of variations that will be similar. Let's just face it, and we all know that. This is not, we're not splitting atoms here. We all know that. The goal is to bring him here, figure out what he does well, and see if we can find ways to get him touches where he can impact the game, Doyle said. The process began for Burden on Friday as he reported to Chicago for the Bears' rookie minicamp, finding the best fits for Loveland and Burden, as well as potential starting offensive linemen in rookie Ozzie Tripp could be key to helping quarterback Caleb Williams take a step forward during his second NFL season. I would push for Ozzie Tripp to be the starting left tackle. I don't care what PFF says. I'm solely going by the eye test. When I watch the Bears, when I watch the offensive line as a whole block, you can see Braxton Jones just getting too many times, more times than not, getting manhandled. Bull rushes, and it's like whenever the defensive end wants to, whenever they make up their mind, it's like, you know what, I'm going to just run over this dude and hit Caleb. And oftentimes, that's all it took. I mean, it works. That mentality actually works, and that's a problem. I don't know how PFF do the ratings and stuff like that, but when I be watching Braxton Jones, I be worried every snap. I be like, is this going to be the snap? Is this the one? I knew it was coming. So, yeah, I hope Ozzie can take Braxton's job. Tell you the truth, that left tackle spot should be wide open as far as competition is concerned. But yeah, I just want to put that in. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description box. You guys let me know what you think. I, for one, kind of saw this happening because the way people describe Luther Burden's personality, his kind of edginess, and he in his mind he feels he should have been drafted like in the first round. Maybe he thought he was a first 7 pick, something like that. So he got a chip on his shoulder, which can work in the Bears' favor. You add that with Ben Johnson's creativity and Luther Burden's ability to be a game breaker and just turn the tide of field position at any given time. Once he get his route running down pat, man, this is going to be a dude to watch. And Rome Odunze, one thing that has, a lot of people either didn't talk about, didn't notice, or didn't pay attention to. Rome Odunze, he was open an awful lot. Now, obviously, the offensive line was trash last year. Double trash. I mean, raining buckets of trash out of the sky. That was them. This year, they should be a lot better. So now, if Rome's still able to get open, and if he's still not getting the ball, now we got to start looking at Caleb. Now, I always give quarterbacks 3 years. That's always been my rule. In that third year, I better be convinced that you're the guy that we can win the Super Bowl because we have. Not you riding the coattails like, okay, if our defense is top 3, then, we can drag Caleb over the finish line. No, we tried that with Rex Grossman, and it did not work. They had a great defense, great running game, but we had Rex Grossman. It's not a winning formula. So after year 3, I need to view Caleb as that guy. I gave him the benefit of the doubt last year because he had a goofball as a head coach. And then when the goofball was fired, you had another guy come in that, wasn't that great. He had a lot more common sense than Eberflus. Thomas Brown did, but it still wasn't good enough. It's pretty much a wasted year of Caleb Williams' career, which was unfortunate. And it should have never happened, but we beat that dead horse plenty of times. But now we're entering into the phase that, there's a great coaching staff. You have Ben Johnson, a very innovative offensive mind as the head coach of the Bears. And we know his handprints is going to be all over the offense. You have great guys, great position coaches. You got Eric Bieniemy, running backs coach. Running back room should be they should be better this year. Let's put it like that. Should be a lot more production. They're still looking for another running back, looks like. That's a whole nother story. I think Ben Johnson just doesn't like DeAndre Swift like that. He just doesn't. I mean, not quarterback. They really planned on drafting a running back, and they had their sights set on certain running backs, but they ended up trading back a little bit too far each time. So, yeah. And you got Antoine Randall, wide receivers coach. I mean, the whole offensive unit will be better. So now the linchpin of the offense, which is Caleb Williams, Hey, look, bro, this is the beginning. Did the same thing with Justin Fields. Now, Caleb Williams, it's your turn. This is year 2. Rookie year is over with. Yes, it was. Your coach was a dookie brain. We all know that. But now, hey, you got a pretty good offensive mind behind you. Now we're going to see, because offensive line will be better. Can't possibly get any worse than last year. So they did address the offensive line. And, they drafted a couple offensive linemen. So as well as the free agents they brought in. So the offensive line is going to be better. So now all eyes on Caleb. Can't keep pointing the finger. Sooner or later, the thumb needs to develop. So you guys let me know what y'all think. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'm out.